Good evening, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our working session for Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. Tonight's first discussion to include number one, RFP for next phase of Highland Hills, and I assume that's Ms. Elavanti on your agenda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Since 2022, the Council and staff have been working on an expansion of the Highland Park Hill neighborhood into the city-owned property right next to it. So far, they have gone through concept design and some work, preliminary layout, etc. You've seen some preliminary costing, those sorts of things. At this time, city staff has met and is looking to request an RFP from qualified consulting firms to complete the next phases of that small area planning process, to include lot development planning for 4 lots located at the end of East Park Drive, and then the rest of the subdivision planning and associated planning for the remaining 30 to 50 lots located on the top of the hill on the parcels that are city-owned next to this. The selected consultant is required to review all previous work. We do have the CAD files and all of that together. Evaluate what parts of the prior concept should be carried forward or refined, and identify areas where that adjustment is needed for constructability, cost containment, compliance, or improved community outcomes, and then potential recommended modifications where appropriate, and provide justifications for that change. The first part of this work would be to lay out those 4 lots that were at the end of East Park Drive that were shown to you in that concept design that was presented to you in, I believe it was November. That would be an incremental extension of that particular neighborhood at this time. We've worked with planning and zoning to understand what can be done incrementally, and we've looked at it a little bit with city engineering to talk about what utilities would need to be expanded and how that would work. This would accomplish the couple of residents that have approached the city council. There's one with a shared driveway who's looking for another access point to their property. This would accomplish that. And then there was the first individual that was looking for a lot to start building their home, which started off the whole project. So we've talked with a city attorney, and one of the things that was noted was as long as the costs are realized and the lots are sold for the appraised value, correct, Andy? Then we don't have to necessarily go out for a full RFP for those 4 lots, but we could start with the interest list that has already been generated for those couple of incremental lots. Then from there, the rest of that subdivision planning would continue on as well and would be done in parallel. But we would offer a smaller incremental option to start that work for those couple of folks who have approached City Council and asked for it. It's an option to continue further to add both tracks at the same time, or you could continue on with the small area planning with 1 track doing the full subdivision all at once. And we would tell the neighbors that are in there that have approached you about the second access point that, you know, they would have to wait for the full subdivision. So that's up to you, and why I'm bringing it in workshop tonight.
What is their cost for what you talked about, just the 4 lots? And would utilities, where are they located right now? We'd have to have an extension. So does it go up to the last possible house? Is that where the extensions go right now?
It's, Mayor, Council, I'm trying to think exact. I think it's about halfway through the last lot.
Okay.
The sanitary sewer, water, I believe the gas is there as well. Power would have to be extended.
Yeah.
So
Is that 4 lots that you're talking about, are those buildable lots as they sit right now?
As we've done the initial review, yes, but that's what this next phase would entail, right? What would they be surveyed at? What do they look like? You know, what would the cost of the extension be? All of those things. We don't have a cost to just get those, you know, items together, which is why we would split that out as part of this RFP and do that work as a separate deliverable.
So we would have 4 more lots up there with only one access in and out still.
Yep. It's just a continuation of the current neighborhood.
And there's was there 3 or 4 new homes in the last maybe 10, 15 years that were built up there? Do you know how many are the newer homes that are up there in the last, like I said, 10 to 15 years that were built up there?
I don't have that data in front of me at this time, no.
Mayor, I don't believe, I've been here 18 years, I don't think there's been a new home
There
up there
hasn't
since
been.
I've been here.
Okay.
I don't
Not-
think so.
Not up that far. There has been
On the other, was there that one?
down below the brick house and
Yeah.
then, yeah, but other than that,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not something you would see because
Right.
it's so tucked away in the
Right.
whole neighborhood, so. So right now, you're asking for an RFP for a combination of things or just the 4 lots?
Well, what I'm asking is, do we want to just continue on the small area planning that we've already started with that phase 4? Or do we want to pause and add this one incremental section into there? Because right now, it's not part of the current project, right?
Oh,
Mayor, council, what we could do with the RFP is you could have different steps to it. You could do these 4, and then you could have a development plan for the entire thing as one step and not approve the whole thing.
yeah.
Well, you'll notice in your packet, it does say phase 1 is the 4 lots,
Yep.
phase 2 is the
No,
rest of
yeah.
it, right? So, yep. Yeah.
Well, it'd be nice to know
You
those
helped me
costs.
draft this, you know.
Yeah, so before, what you're saying is before you'd get an RFP for everything and you'd pick and choose what you want to move forward on.
Well, if the current RFP as drafted stands, we would start with phase 1 and then go to phase 2 and, you know, keep moving as it sits, unless you want us to change this draft. That's why I didn't just put it on the council agenda for approval, right? That's why we're workshopping it tonight to see what you want to do. Right now, the current project that's been authorized is, you know, through the full subdivision, right?
Right.
And we're taking a step back just to, you know, do a gut check now and say, you know, can we add these 4 lots in there as phase 1 and then, you know, do the next?
Mayor?
Yes.
And one thing to add to this too, once you go for RFPs and you get a consultant on board, they might look at what's been presented in the past, and some of that might not work for utilities, because you want to be able to get gravity sewer to all the
Yeah.
homes.
Absolutely.
Some of that might not work because that work wasn't done.
These proposed lots, Jesse, since you know the area and the sewer setup up there, would gravity work on these 4 lots?
Yes.
Okay, I figured it would, but I wanted to hear you say that.
It should work. I believe that end manhole, I want to say is about 8 feet deep. Even with a basement, I believe it would work. Slab on grade, it would definitely
Yeah,
work.
yeah. Okay. Personally, myself, I wouldn't mind seeing the RFP for the 4. We got so much going on right now with 400, the HR projects, other things that might be coming up. I think this is one, we knew it was out there a ways anyways. It'd be a way to take a look at that neighborhood, improve it, develop, you know, expand our economic base with some nice lots that fit that existing neighborhood. That would be my thought process.
So, Mayor, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're talking about put it out with all of it in here, but say to separate them out in line items so that we can pick and choose and say we will do the phase 1 of this RFP and choose if we're gonna go forward with
Yes.
the second phase at, you know, because you're correct, we're about 5 years out for starting
Yes,
anything
so that's
on
why
this
I'm not,
neighborhood.
with the
Yeah.
other projects we got going, but the 4 lots could easily something manageable for us to do while we're
Yeah.
doing other things.
Right,
Correct,
right.
yep.
And it sounds like they're almost pre-sold, right? Basically, you have
Yeah, pretty close.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's.
Sorry, Counselor Fosso, you were.
I just had a question. So, and this is off of East Park Drive, right? So continuing East Park Drive. What was the issue again with a shared driveway? Which property was that?
It's facing the drive on the other side of that block. Is it Masabi Drive?
What's that
What's
next
up,
project?
I can't remember, Jess.
That's not that one, it's the next one over.
Charter, That one?
Yes.
That house?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a shared driveway between two neighbors. And so if they could have another access point to that, their property, then they wouldn't have to share a driveway.
Wasn't there
So
one
how
that's
are we,
McDonald's?
I guess, how are we addressing that to create a second access point? Because there's no alleys, right? And if we bust those properties out, there'd be 2 lots on that side or 3 lots?
So, correct, and so this particular property would have to adjoin their parcel to the lot that they would buy behind their current property, because it would be contiguous. And then, that way they could build their garage and their driveway on there without being in conflict with one of our ordinances, which says you have to have a house on the parcel first before you build the other
So they want to buy
accessory dwellings.
one of the 4 lots
Yeah,
and then not build on it?
they will build a garage and a driveway and join it to their current parcel, which would increase the size of their parcel and put their access point on the East Park Drive.
So that has to be over here then.
But we're not paying for any of that. They're doing that as a private
Correct.
owner, right? Okay.
Correct. Yep, and that's what we've
That
explained to them is they have to pay for those costs to the assessed or appraised value, because otherwise we'd have to go out for an RFP, as I understand it, or a bid for that
Or
lot.
that.
But if you pay market value,
That's
then
gotta be that.
So
the
then-
city can sell.
So one of the 4 lots would, probably he would purchase that one. Would the other shared driveway person also be looking to purchase the one behind them?
They can't because they have a house behind them.
So it's this lot that wants to build
Okay,
that here.
that makes sense
Yep.
then.
Did we take?
Sorry, I
care of
did bring
some kind of
pictures.
road?
I got it up
Okay,
here, so yeah, I'm
perfect.
showing them.
Excellent, I really appreciate that.
Something from the
Okay,
Great.
so anybody else have any comments, or, yes, John?
What are we looking at value on those lots?
That will be part of this project, to come up with value and present that back to you, and then you would have the option to sell them for that value, is how that would work. So those purchase agreements would have to come before you. We wouldn't sell those without your approval.
And how large are the parcels? Just remind me.
It's governed by our planning department. We've met with Pat, and he says they have to be, is it 75 foot?
Yeah, I think they're larger than the minimum requirement. that we
Something
have.
about setbacks and.
I don't
yeah.
remember the
75
exact
lot.
width of them.
One last question for up there. So, this East Park Drive, as it cuts down that part, there are no sidewalks, correct? And there's not room to put sidewalks, and we would not be putting sidewalks as part of this expansion.
There would be room to put, because we have a 66-foot wide right-of-way, so there is room, but we wouldn't be connecting to anything, because I don't think there's sidewalks farther up there, right? I don't have it
I
in front
think
of me.
I
there's
think
sidewalks on the,
Masaba Drive, I think is about when they start, isn't
You
it?
have it in front of your house, don't you?
yeah, we have sidewalks.
And you're on the east side.
I'm on,
Yeah, East Park Drive.
it's gonna be on my
Southeast.
left.
Southeast, yeah.
I think East Park.
That's
It's
your
on the
house.
east side
You're
of
on
the
this
street,
side,
yeah.
southeast,
There's-
just as you're making a turn.
Yep.
right now.
Yes, it does.
But if we were to expand the entire development, we'd sidewalk all of that.
I think go ahead with these first 4 and get them done. I don't think that negatively impacts the community up there in any way. Houses have been added before, so.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for the direction. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Betsy. All right, this time we'll go round table. We'll start with you. The administrator, Mr. Pazinski.
So, a couple things from my office. First thing, on behalf of fire, they have a need for some tactical vests. I think there's, I don't know, half a dozen. It's about a $7,000 expenditure. Not budgeted for '26, but we had some one-time dollars from 2023 that are in the coffers. Fire would like to spend that money on those vests. And remember, we already have a bunch of tactical vests, but we have additional people now that we need to outfit. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'm assuming there are no objections, but because it's unbudgeted, I wanted to make sure that I brought that to your attention. For the next meeting, it'll be on the consent agenda. So this will be a little bit messy, but all come together here. So remember, we've got some staffing changes, animal control. So that being the case, we're looking at a different org structure, specifically blight and what we do with that. Remember, that's currently living in the fire department world. We'll be having some internal conversations about what the next steps are for that. I'm thinking it's going to building and planning in that space. I think we've got really good communication when it comes to that department. PD, which has a stake in it. Fire, remember we have a fire marshal, Nicola. So please anticipate a change there. What we've been doing isn't working the way I want it to, so we have to try something. I'm not gonna try to do the same thing over and over. The results aren't gonna likely change. Do you wanna talk about animal control in depth? I mean, it was a little bit messy the last week or so. Remember, there was a change in staffing, so it was kind of time to make some of those operational changes. Some were successful, some not as much. I know we've got an ordinance change coming up on the 21st. Animal control?
Didn't we just accept that?
We put that one on too?
Yeah,
Your cat's got
we did that tonight.
Oh, yeah, it was tonight, okay.
stumping me here with this.
Yeah, that was adopting the ordinance
Yes.
that kind of parallels what Grand Rapids
What
said.
did I not get done?
Yes.
Thank you for keeping me on task. So we'll be making some changes there. Anything else on the animal control?
Just to kind of update you a little bit, we have, we were able to get 16 cats to another shelter, or to a shelter, so that was good. We're down to 14 with 2 being adopted out. We have 3 dogs in foster, which are going to be adopted by their foster people. We just have to make sure that that vetting had been done, because that was part of that.
What about the neutering, and that has to be done too?
Correct, yeah. So we'll be bringing them to Ely, which doesn't cost.
Spade and neutering?
Yep, spay and neutering, and then they'll vet them as well. So that is a huge relief for us. And then we have 5 dogs that are still up for adoption. So we just are trying to make sure that we get out, we put the one that got brought in yesterday, we put that one out, and nobody has claimed it yet. I do have a rescue in the Twin Cities area that might take the 2, one's a half a pit, one's a full pit. So we're working to get, sorry about that. Usually I'm louder, so. But we're working to get all of the animals to, their homes, and we're doing it little by little. So we have excellent staff out there that has been making sure everything has been clean. Animals are very well taken care of, so.
So we talked about the restructure to address the blight, rental inspections, animal control. We did take delivery of that speed plow, which we ordered in 24-ish, 23. So I bring this up because, remember, we have a bunch of graders under lease. They'll be coming up. That lease will be coming up, I think, in the 28, was it? My opinion, and the numbers are showing it, we don't need that many graders. We want to reduce that number of graders that we're leasing, but we also have a need. Those speed plows, remember, at the end of this transition, we'll have 2 of those speed plows. So there's a lot of moving wheels to this. And now that Joe has the go-ahead on that patcher, we can start our pothole hotline again. That'll be good. So we're going to be focusing on that. Why is that important to this conversation? Because on our consent agenda this evening, we had placing a couple of roles on hold, skilled labor, specifically operators. I meant to socialize this with the city council before you took action on it. My apologies for not doing that. What we're trying to do is make sure that we have room to be nimble and move within the confines of delivering services to our people, some of these rigid union contracts, specifically when it comes to operators, equipment operators. Remind me, Jesse, we're down a net of one body or two?
For equipment operators?
Yeah.
So after the hire tonight, which was internal,
Yep.
we'll be at 13, 6 equipment operator ones, 7 equipment operator twos. So then we had 3 skilled laborers open. So then we eliminated one of those skilled laborers and created another equipment operator.
Okay.
So then it'll give us, I think we'll get a better turnout when we advertise for these positions to have someone that's already has experience in operating equipment to get them on board.
So there's a net
1,
of one, minus one.
minus 1.
But then also on our sanitation routes, a net minus one,
Correct.
because we're combining some routes. Important to you all to know that we're trying to do more with less. We think we want the ability to move within those confines. I mean, we're looking at operations when it comes to snow removal, sanitation, all of these projects and all these tasks that we do. It's a long way of saying I meant to bring this to the city council in a workshop previously. I failed to do that. My apologies. Quick questions?
Yeah, I was just gonna, you mentioned earlier the speed plow, and I think, Joe, you'd mentioned it's in, have we used it for plowing yet?
We just put it in operational yesterday,
Okay,
so, they're out training, they've been scraping roads with it, it's gonna be a huge efficiency too.
that's the point I was gonna ask, these new trucks compared to what we had years ago, which we got rid of, our old speed plows, which we got forever. I mean, I'm just curious of how many miles these can cover versus our old truck, and
So, we'll have that information with these trucks, we can track material, we can track movement, you're gonna get from A to B a lot faster. It's gonna only be, 1 unit, not 3 units.
yeah, because it'll carry salt and sand
Yep,
both, correct?
Yep. Yeah, these units are equipped, they're just like a St. Louis County
State, or
truck.
county or
so
state, yep.
You can put the liquid salt and the granular, so they're a one deal going out there. We don't have to send another sander out there, another person, so.
Yeah.
It'll be way more efficient, and we'll be looking at adding a lot of them main, routes in their vicinities of their route to be more efficient.
Okay, so, very good. I was just curious, because I know we haven't had much snow to deal with. it, but-
We've received the first one, the second one will be delivered in the spring, so.
Good.
So a lot of operational changes. I just wanted to put that on your radar because I know that generates phone calls to elected types, so. And then the last thing, originally this evening, we were going to have AP here for updates on the Public Safety Center. That didn't come together like we wanted it to. We'll be talking about change orders, trying to get up to date on change orders, project update, and then the last piece will be the vapor mitigation. Maybe you can just talk about that just real briefly, Jesse, if you would.
Yep. So Mayor Council, we did many soil tests on the site. We removed a lot of contaminated material. One of the things that is in the site is butadiene. So we tested for that, tested positive. So with that, you have to incorporate a vapor mitigation system. So it's pretty much a plumbing system underneath a vapor barrier underneath your concrete slab. So we tie all that together, put fans on the stacks, and it pulls that out of the ground pretty much, so it doesn't seep into the building. So we have some prices for that. We have a low and a high estimate. We'll be bringing those to council, I believe the next meeting. We're meeting with AP next Thursday to go over these changes. We had a meeting yesterday just to go over who's gonna do the design, how it's gonna be designed and pricing and those kind of things. So this is something we have to do per the MPCA. If you find anything contaminated on your site, you have to incorporate this type of a system.
You know, this was an old public works site, so I mean, if we didn't think we were gonna find something, we were fools. We knew you built in some funding just to deal with that. It's just, what is our price gonna be?
Right,
That's what
and-
you're gonna know.
Yep, and a lot of those, the funds that we had set aside, a lot of those have been expended already because of the amount of contaminated soil we had to haul off-site. So we'll have a complete breakdown at the next meeting of everything from the beginning of the project until now that we've run into.
Okay. How about timing on the project? How are we sitting timing-wise from what was projected?
So originally, we were hoping for the end of September. I think we're into December right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Sound about right?
They're still confident they'll hit it by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, the building completion?
Yep.
All right, that's good to know.
With that, I'll yield.
On the animal intake topic, it's obviously been very contentious for my people. So I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page as me, Candy, and Greg of kind of our plan moving forward as far as intake goes. Right now, we're just doing bite holds or neglect cases. So just, I know you guys have been fielding calls, we've been fielding calls, so I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and have a game plan moving forward, so we're not going back and forth on what's going on.
What is in, I know Grand Rapids does more than just bite. They take in regular animals too. And they make a decision on, and I forgot how many animals, dogs they took in, 170 or whatever it is for the year. That seems pretty light to just still, I mean, that's my opinion right now. And I know we really didn't give direction on that. Prior to that, we were taking anybody that brought a dog. I know they don't take surrenders. Grand Rapids doesn't take surrenders. A dog that is left with a resident or apartment, that is part of the property of the apartment, so it goes to the landlord. They don't pick those up. If any dog that is in a family were deceased and there's an animal left that goes to the family, they don't pick those dogs up. But they do pick up loose dogs that look like they belong to someone. More than just what you just hit on right there. So,
And I'm fine going any direction you would like.
yeah, no, I understand that.
I just want something,
Yep.
a plan, so I can pass that on to my folks, and it's like, all right, here's what we're doing. Today, we're not gonna do this, tomorrow, we're
Yeah.
not gonna do that. Whatever guidance you give, I'm good with. I just want some type of a plan.
I think I agree with Pete. I think nobody disagrees with a bite or neglect. That should definitely be taken care of. But I think there's a lot of situations where you'd have loose dogs, you know, not biting people, but harassing people, running through people's yards. And I think that's something we need to address as well. And I don't know what the answer is for it, but I think it seems a little lean to just narrow it down to those two cases.
Even surrenders, I mean, I don't, if someone, they should look, if someone has a dog that they can't take care of, they also can go online and say, we take a picture and this is a dog we want to move on. I'll use my brother, he did that with his dog. He found a new home for it without bringing it to the shelter and surrendering it. I think people have to take accountability for their animals. But you do have good dogs that do break loose. That might have to be picked up, other than just those two cases.
I mean, I've been on the record saying, like, and I still believe it, like, I don't think the city should operate or fund an animal rescue outfit. But I still think we need to provide animal control services. Like Grand Rapids, like, if I have a dog in my yard and it won't go away, or is chasing me when I'm walking my dog, I think someone should be able to respond to that and handle that. But if you just say, oh, let it run loose, and then it goes and does something worse than chase me or knock a kid over on a bike, I think a city should provide some kind of animal control like Grand Rapids does. And I hope more rescue groups open up and operate, and we forge partnerships with them but I don't think we should be taking surrenders or anything like that. We're not an animal rescue group. I mean, the whole situation at the airport, for how many years it's been going on, is weird. And I think we should I think the future should be some kind of animal control where you can deal with calls like that, and hope that there's more rescue groups, but I think we need to respond to more, me as a citizen, than just bite holds and neglect.
How many calls have we turned down?
Have we turned down?
Yeah, have we turned down?
None. There was the one Monday, but we resolved that issue.
Yeah, you solved that issue, so
Yeah.
there really only has been the one to this point.
Correct.
We had
Or
a surrender
that
that
surrender. Yeah,
we
correct.
did turn away.
Yeah, but that's a different scenario,
Correct.
because people should take responsibility and actually promote the animal to move on to.
I mean, the animal rescue that I'm on the board of, the shelter manager asks us, hey, we are approached by this person that wants to surrender this dog, and they don't take them all. Like, it just depends on room and situation, and you gotta find a rescue outfit that will take them. Like, if it's someone dies or a tenant leaves them behind or whatever, like, I don't think the city should be doing that, but there are a lot of great hardworking groups that do, and it's the demand for shelters for these animals, I mean, highly exceeds the supply of rescue outfits. And it's a battle, I know that, but I think moving forward in the future, we need some kind of animal control officer.
Well, I guess what I would see is starting this year, we've just made an adjustments on following Grand Rapids on unmanageable cats, meaning, not just feral cats, but unmanageable cats, because it's hard to define what's feral or not feral. So that we just adopted tonight. Dogs, I think it's a situation where if someone does call and there is a dog that is running around, of course, if it meets the two criteria that you just mentioned, I think that's important, but I do think we have to go the next step too, and just see where we're getting to. We got into such a bad situation because everybody, bring them to Hibbing, they'll take them. That's what we don't want to go, that's where we don't want to continue going. We want to serve our residents, our area, but not bring animals in from out of the area, not bring animals in from out of state. So dealing with just our residents within our footprint, and we have a loose dog, I think we do have to bring it in. And see where we fall. How many dogs how many do we have last year? Do we know?
I thought it was 264.
Yeah, because I think Grand Rapids is under over 100, about 100 less dogs for all of Itasca County.
Cats, that's a different number.
Yeah, they had 19 total in 2024 for the whole year. So, but I think we have to have that manageable number and you creating a relationship with other shelters that might take them, or finding 80 to 90% of Grand Rapids dogs go back to their owners through advertisement. People come and pick them up because they actually just got loose and they wanted them back. And I think in the past, we've done a good job of promoting our animals online, and we want to continue to do that, put them back in their families.
We're meeting on the subject in the morning, so we'll get a game plan, and
Okay.
we might even send out a quick little.
Yeah, I will say, I agree 100% with what Chris said too about animal control, and actually Chief, you and I had to talk about that shortly after you came on board here, and that's what started the blight department position. But now that we don't have the funds going to the animal outfit out there, we could reappropriate some funds and put towards maybe a animal control person. Like if we're not paying to sending them money for their facility every month, we have some money that we've been allocating that we could maybe appropriate for.
But we're still managing it though.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I don't know that we need to do all of that. I'm not sure what that operation requires us to do. But I mean, the animal control piece I think is really key. So.
Who's out there now, like for employees?
We have 5 employees out there.
Part-timers?
Yeah.
And who's doing kind of what the former employee did? Are you tasked with that, or are they team working as 5?
We're actually working as a team, but it has been, like, I've been contacting different rescues, and then one of the employees out there was able to get 16 cats up to Ely, so that was amazing.
Yeah, we gotta keep
Yeah.
those partnerships.
Yep, so that's a
Right.
great question, and that's part of what that meeting is in the morning.
Right.
Because Candy won't be able to do all that work on her own, and there's 5 part-timers. And remember, Eric's a stakeholder, so fire's got a stake, and so because of the change in staffing, we just need to reorganize and make sure people have duties and responsibilities straight, which is exactly what Steve was talking about. So that's the gist of that meeting in the morning.
But I think what you asked, and Steve, I think the question you asked is we want a little more than what you had just mentioned. Meaning, I think we still have to take the responsibility of dogs that are manageable, that we feel are got loose or whatever. It'd be nice how we would create that network, because that was the key component for Grand Rapids. And that's the one thing he said, their CSO has been doing it so long, he has so many contacts that his dogs, if they're not picked up, he has someplace for them to go. And he has created that network within his, for Itasca County or Grand Rapids. And, you know, we probably were one of the places that used to take them, but that's where we don't want to be anymore. We want to deal with safety of our residents and animal control within our perimeters of the footprint of our city.
Yeah. And if I can just add to this too, so as an intake, we don't have to vet.
Right.
You guys gave the direction to vet because if you put the animals out there and they don't get spayed or neutered, then it's just multiplying that way. We have been in contact with the state of Minnesota Board of Animal Health, and I was told today that, you know, he's hearing great things. So I think, you know, for the most part, we're doing the right things with those animals because they are getting vetted and they are getting spayed and neutered. So I feel like, you know, keeping in contact with them too is also a positive for us.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from counselors?
Is there anything in the plans for the Public Safety Center to have any kind of,
No,
like an intake or nothing like that?
I mean, that was all designed years ago, or at least 18 months ago. So, short version, no. The longer story is, that's part of the conversation now. I think it would be best if we built that, got that building done as opposed to a change right now.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah,
design. But that is a conversation, because if we're going to do what we just talked about, the building and the facility we have now
Not
doesn't
good.
work logistically.
No.
So,
I didn't think there was, I just wanted to be clear that that wasn't part of the design.
No, it wasn't. Okay. Steve, anything else? Nope. Candy?
I don't have anything, thanks.
James?
No, nothing except for I walked Howard Street from the Howard Court down to Aero Auto today. It was very nice to see the sidewalk clean on the 400 block. It was very nice and tidy. So
Yeah.
whoever did that, thank you. I didn't have to walk through snow today.
Nothing.
Yeah, that wasn't me that did that.
I didn't think so.
Justin?
He's good, I'm good.
I'm good. It was the animal, that's the only thing I wanted to bring up today was that. So thanks for doing this, Steve.
So, one quick thing, I don't know what the process is, but maybe next council meeting, if I can be under the mayor and council reports. I just want to bring up about what the airport had spent, the $10 million, and how much of it was paid for by grants on their job things. So I don't know if I'm supposed to interrupt and say, hey, I want to speak here.
We'll just add it.
Yeah.
What is our process? How do you want
Yeah,
me to
so
do it?
if you know ahead of time that you want to speak, let me know and I'll put it on there, just so we
Perfect.
don't lose that spot. But if something comes up on the night of the meeting, you know,
Right.
you can even let us know during that, you know, we can ask.
Just for next week,
Mayor Hyde can ask, like, is there anyone else who has anything to
Right.
talk about under?
Can we just put a placeholder?
Same with Rams, with,
Can we
Yeah.
just put a placeholder
Justin?
on the agenda that says city councilor reports?
It is on.
It is, it's number
Yeah.
9.
So you want it just,
You want your name?
Well, I don't want my name. I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't want to interrupt you after you did that long consent agenda.
oh, okay.
And so I just,
Okay.
got it.
yeah. I didn't know if there was a formal way to
Actually,
do it.
we'll have something from HPU next week.
Yeah.
We'll have that open house.
Yeah.
Which is what we're trying to do, is
Right.
make sure people know what's going on. so.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yep. Chris?
Could I touch on that light after loss quickly? I should have said something while they were there. They were here. Sometimes I have trouble forming my words. The person that objected to it, I'm never going to try to understand how they feel or tell them how to grieve. I didn't think this would be a controversial project. But again, I'm not going to try to get in someone's head or tell them how to grieve or feel, but I don't think I personally could have a clear conscience and tell them they had to build somewhere else. After all the work they did, and we gave them the okay, and that's just my personal feelings. I don't think if go engage with that person, great. Counselor Bayless, applaud you for volunteering to do that. It can't be an easy conversation, but I just couldn't feel good about myself if I told them they had to start from scratch somewhere else. But
I agree. I think it sounds like they have some plans to kind of restructure their whole little display. I think that probably is a happy medium.
I think they took a great initiative to do that, and again, that's why I took blame for us not even suggesting that they did a review of the neighborhood, because who would have thought it could have been an issue? But that's water under the bridge, we can't worry about that. I think they have a great approach going forward, and that they personally addressed it separately themselves without being directed to do that, I think was a great initiative on their part. So I appreciate your comments, Counselor Whitney.
I guess I'll speak to that a little bit. I guess the one thing I look at is being the person that lives there, and will probably move if the park gets built there. And for the whole project's reasoning, right, is lost children along the way, born or unborn. And for me, having that spot, like I would have a plaque on there, obviously, and my wife's involved with it. But me going to that place, knowing that this statue is ruining,
I hear you.
you know, that family's life is the way it was. I've spoken with her a few times, you know, trying to mitigate the whole process, and it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of give on their side of it. So
We put ourselves in a bad situation here.
yeah, I mean, obviously, we should have checked, I guess, looking at it now. It's easy to look back and say, we should have done this, or we should have done that. But I don't think it'd be that difficult for them to have a different location. They have the whole thing drawn up. You can take that plan and put it in a different spot. So,
Yeah, I mean, I would support it wherever they wanted to build.
right, well, that's the thing. They have our support to build it.
It's just if this ruins a bunch of things or costs them money, I would just feel horrible. And I'd feel horrible if the person that objects to it would move. I don't know, it stings.
And I think that's the hard part, is the person doesn't object to the project, the person doesn't want to have it outside their front door.
Yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah.
And it's, honestly, it's gonna be one of the toughest votes that I'm gonna have to make. I know all of these people involved, including the homeowner. And they're my neighbor, so I mean, this is not gonna be an easy thing to do either way for me, but just like you say, I mean, it might be a costly for the group, and, asking them to move. Money can be replaced, I mean, in my opinion, so I'm not gonna plant my flag on either side of it, but I would feel awful forcing that neighbor of mine to walk out their door and see that every day. I would feel really bad.
I'd feel awful either way, I just don't know when, like, I don't know what to do, like.
Yeah. I don't either. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't have a solution. I'm just saying it sucks and it's gonna be a really, really tough thing to decide on.
I do think that there was one other neighbor that also, through the grapevine, wasn't supportive of it, so I'm just gonna throw that out there, just so you know. I think it's a neighbor to them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
In that proximity, even though, you know, the size, I don't know the dimension of this, but the same thing I said that you just said, John, what they're building can be put anywhere. It doesn't need a specific site. But to keep it in that vicinity, I mean, even if Frank Hibbing has another option, is right there. That's a big park. It doesn't take away from having two things in the same park. Sergeant Park will always be known as Sergeant Park, whether it has a memorial there or not.
Mayor, I apologize. I
Yeah.
gotta pick up my kid Cherry at 8.
Nick will work with them on a couple questions and we'll see where we are on the 21st.
Sounds good.
Chris, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, sounds
Okay,
good.
Jesse?
Thank you.
The only thing I have is a quick update on 41st Street ditching project, south of 41st. I received the plans today about 4:30, went through those. The only thing we're waiting on is, we had a wetland application permit, so we're waiting on Bowser and the DNR to review that and get back to us. Once we get the go-ahead, we will advertise bid
Permits.
and then do the project.
Time frame from them, do you know? Did they?
I asked that question today, and 4 to 6 weeks but they just did a permit that was 10 days. So you never know with
Okay,
government agencies.
good? Sheena?
One quick thing, good evening, Mayor, members of the council. If you remember, at the last meeting of December, we approved a 2026 fee schedule. I have had a couple things come forward to be added from the ambulance department. The billing company had recommended a couple changes. We had a discussion at the leadership meeting about increasing our appliance stickers from $12 to $15. We're looking at streamlining the billing for our equipment rental fees so that their rates of the person plus the equipment and their fixed rate versus trying to calculate that. And then we have our annual increase, which we've been doing on February 1st for sewer. And that is the 5% increase for the sewer and the 7.5% for stormwater that was in our budget.
Okay.
Just if anyone has any questions, otherwise that would be brought forward at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
All right.
I don't have anything in writing. I did have a meeting last week with Greg and Candy, with Pat and Tina, and this is about cannabis. So one of the issues that had come up with respect to that is that there is we have in our ordinance now a registration fee for a particular site, but this state cannabis board requires that any site, like, so for instance, Chairman Liquor does not have cannabis, but they do have the low potency edibles that you can have there. And they were approved for that before. When they changed the statute here this fall, they had to reapply. But even for that place, there has to be an inspection done to verify that, in fact, that commercial setting is acceptable. And they're supposed to meet all zoning code. Well, to have our building officer have to go out and do an inspection of every commercial place that potentially might come forward, in my opinion, I think there should be a fee charged for that, for doing that. And so we were talking with Greg and Candy to try and come up with a fee. So for and for anything above a commercial, because there'll be cannabis retailers as well that are going to be under the same scrutiny if and when they come in. We're going to have fees set in for that, so that's something that'll come in an amendment to your fee schedule here shortly, when we set an amount. Anything over and above that where there's going to be any kind of a building or design of a building, the ordinance is going to be revised to reflect that there won't be a fee set. They'll just have to have an architect or an engineer present to Pat what they've come up with. Those are spendy items at times, but I don't think it's fair to, because I don't know that I want the city signing off on every one of these designs without another professional telling them that it's
Yes.
okay. So, just
Makes
as a
sense.
heads up to you guys, if this issue comes forward.
Okay. And,
Mr. Mayor, the fleet manager has something.
oh,
One quick thing. So, with the receiving of the plow truck, we'll be surplusing one of our road graders, so, we'd like to take one of our current F-550s that has a flatbed on it, convert it to a tipper unit to replace our oldest tipper truck. So we'd like to use those funds. So the next meeting, I'll be surplusing our 2009 road grader, selling that, and then I'd like to get this approved and get this out. It's gonna be a little
so
bit.
we're, how many lease graders do we have right now?
7,
And how many do we own? 3?
3,
And we're getting rid of one of our used graders,
correct.
our oldest grader, I assume?
Yep.
Okay. All right,
So just like, we'd
For
like
the
to use the
interest,
surplusing funds to,
Yep.
to get that done and get one of our older ones. We have that flatbed that's very low miles and we want to utilize it better, so.
yep. Very good. Thank
Thanks.
you. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.